Did you know that in the United States, someone suffers a stroke every 40 seconds and every 4 minutes a life is lost? The terrifying truth is many of these deaths don't happen because of a lack of hospitals or doctors, but because of simple mistakes made at home. Just one wrong decision, like giving medication or waiting to see if things get better, can mean losing your loved one forever. Picture this: your loved one is lying there, half their body paralyzed, their face drooping, unable to speak, and you only have minutes to decide. What would you do? In this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 deadly mistakes families make when handling a stroke at home, and most importantly, I'll show you the correct, life-saving actions that could protect your loved ones. Many people believe that when a loved one has a stroke, giving them an aspirin, a glass of water, or even a small bite of food might help them recover. But in reality, this is one of the most dangerous mistakes you can make. During a stroke, the nervous system that controls swallowing is often impaired, which means the patient loses their safe swallowing reflex. Any food, drink, or medication given can easily slip into the airway, leading to choking, airway obstruction, and even sudden death. The American Heart Association clearly warns. Stroke patients should never eat or drink anything before a medical professional evaluates their swallowing ability. Studies show that more than 30% of stroke patients will choke if they're given food or drink too early. I've witnessed a real case where a patient was given aspirin right after showing facial drooping. Tragically, he choked on the pill. His airway was blocked, and he nearly lost his life. And this is just the first mistake. It alone can be fatal within minutes. Coming up next, we'll look at other deadly errors families continue to make. In many families, when someone shows signs of a stroke, the first reaction is to start coin rubbing, acupuncture, or vigorous massage, hoping to release blocked blood or wake the patient up. But this is a deadly trap. The reality is, a stroke happens because a blood vessel in the brain is either blocked or ruptured. Coin rubbing, acupuncture, or rubbing the body cannot dissolve a clot or stop bleeding in the brain. On the contrary, these actions waste the most critical window of time. Did you know that with every minute lost, nearly 2 million brain cells die? The American Stroke Association has never recognized any folk remedy as effective in treating stroke. The only proven treatments are clot-busting drugs, which must be given within 4.5 hours, or clot retrieval procedures within 6 to 24 hours. I recall a case in California where a patient's family tried coin rubbing for 30 minutes before calling 911. By then, it was too late for clot-busting medication, and the patient was left permanently paralyzed on one side. So, coin rubbing or acupuncture doesn't save lives, it steals precious time. And coming up next, we'll discuss another common mistake: driving the patient to the hospital yourself. In moments of panic, many families decide to drive their loved one to the hospital themselves, thinking it will be faster. But this mistake can actually cost the patient their life. Remember, in a private car, there's no emergency equipment and no medical staff. If the patient stops breathing or their heart stops on the way, you are almost helpless. In contrast, an ambulance is equipped with oxygen, defibrillators, emergency drugs, and trained personnel ready to act immediately. Studies in the U.S. show that patients transported by EMS not only have higher survival rates, but also receive clot-busting treatment much faster than those brought in private vehicles. I recall a case in Texas where a family drove their loved one to the hospital. On the way, he stopped breathing, and without emergency equipment, he died before arrival. If 911 had been called, the hospital would have been alerted, the stroke team prepared, and precious time would have been saved. That's why the only right choice in this situation is to call 911 immediately. And the next deadly mistake we'll cover is waiting, hoping the patient will recover on their own. Many families, when they see a loved one with symptoms like weakness in the arm, facial drooping, or slurred speech, assume it's just fatigue and decide to wait, hoping the patient will recover. But this is a deadly mistake. In reality, many Strokes begin with what's called a transient ischemic attack or TIA. The symptoms look exactly like a real stroke but may disappear after a few minutes. The danger is that 1 out of 3 TIA patients will suffer a full-blown stroke within 90 days, sometimes just hours later. Research from the American Stroke Association shows that ignoring a TIA dramatically increases the risk of a major disabling stroke compared to patients who seek immediate medical help. Remember, time is brain. Every minute of delay kills millions of brain cells. I recall a case in New York. A 55-year-old woman experienced facial numbness and weakness in her right arm. Her family thought she was just tired and let her rest. After 2 hours, the symptoms disappeared. But later that night, she suffered a massive stroke, slipped into a coma, and has lived in a vegetative state ever since. That's why you must never wait, even if the symptoms fade away. It's a critical warning sign. And the next mistake, the most common one of all, is not calling 911 immediately. This is the most dangerous and the most common mistake, not calling 911 immediately. Far too often, when people notice stroke symptoms, they decide to wait and see or think it can wait until the morning, but just a few minutes of delay can cost the patient their chance at recovery. Here's what you need to know. Clot-busting medication only works within the first 4.5 hours after symptoms begin. Clot retrieval procedures can only be performed within 6 to 24 hours. Miss this critical window, and the patient is almost certain to be left with permanent disability or worse. Research shows that patients who call 911 right away have far better recovery outcomes than those who hesitate or try to handle things on their own. Remember, every single minute equals nearly 2 million brain cells lost. I recall a case in Florida. A 62-year-old man felt numbness in his left hand but didn't call for help, assuming it would go away. 2 hours later, he suffered a massive stroke. By the time he reached the hospital, it was too late. He now lives with permanent paralysis on one side of his body. So, when a stroke is suspected, the only right action is to call 911 immediately. And in the next part, I'll show you the correct, life-saving steps you can take to protect your loved one during a stroke. After learning about the deadly mistakes, it's time to talk about the correct, life-saving actions to take when you suspect a stroke. The good news is, with just one simple principle, you can save a life. That principle is F.A.S.T. Ask the patient to smile. If one side of the face droops, it's a warning sign. Arm. Ask them to raise both arms. If one arm drifts downward, it's a warning sign. Speech. Ask them to repeat a simple sentence. If their speech is slurred or strange, it's a warning sign. Time is brain. Call 911 immediately. In addition, place the patient on their side with their head slightly elevated to prevent choking. Do not give food, drinks, or any medication. Prepare key information for the doctors, the exact time symptoms started, current medications, and medical history. If possible, record a short video of the symptoms to help the stroke team. Studies show that patients identified with F.A.S.T and treated within the golden hour are 3 times more likely to recover well compared to those who arrive late. I recall a case in Chicago. A man's daughter recognized F.A.S.T signs, called 911 right away, and he received treatment within 2 hours. Just 1 week later, he was almost fully recovered. So remember, just a few simple steps and a single phone call to 911 can save an entire lifetime. And in our final part, I'll leave you with the most powerful message you need to carry with you. Stroke is a race against time. One right decision made in just minutes can save an entire lifetime. On the other hand, a single mistake at home can cost everything. In today's video, we uncovered the 5 deadly mistakes families often make when handling a stroke at home. More importantly, you now know the correct, science-backed actions. Recognize F.A.S.T, call 911 immediately, and keep the patient safe. Remember, every minute that passes means millions of brain cells lost. Don't hesitate. Don't make the wrong move. Take the right action to protect your loved ones. If this video has been helpful, please like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss other vital health insights to protect your family. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos, and I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever witnessed a loved one or a friend suffer a stroke? How did you respond? Share your experience in the comments below.